Hello there guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much for joining today. Remember to hit like, comment and subscribe for more information. While you're at it, I just want to let you know that I actually do have a full 90-minute documentary, free, accessible, completely available to you on my YouTube channel if you subscribe now. There's also additional videos around biohacking, carnivore, autism, training, losing body fat, gaining muscle, all that kind of thing on my channel in the member section, so definitely check that out. We've also got an audiobook through there, which is actually the whole Beef Up Carnivore Bodybuilding Bible, which talks about all things carnivore, building muscle and losing fat. Anyway, we're going to get straight into it. So today we're talking about some pain and biohacks I use to mitigate pain from a failed back surgery, which resulted in type 2 CRPS, which stands for complex regional pain syndrome. Anyway, so I want to go over a few things then. It's about thermoregulation. So it means managing heat, managing cold, and using them to your hormetic advantage to gain more strides in terms of your pain relief over time. Now, also want to say, the first one, probably one of the most important things to mention, is that all these things should be used with medical guidance under your professional healthcare and advisory board or practitioner. So the first thing, actually, is quite a new one to me, is cold plunging. Now, I'm not a big fan of the ice baths. I think they're a bit dangerous and bang for buck. Can be expensive, can be annoying. I think to do that is really horrible. So these are things which are, freezing cold. Now, what I'm talking about here is actually cold plunging. In this instance, I'm actually doing it at a 4 degrees Celsius temperature. What I found was 3 to 5 minutes of that has actually significantly reduced my pain levels. It has increased my daytime mental clarity, reduced a lot of my brain fog that I've been having. Now, I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but it's certainly useful. Basically, what it does is basically, you've got the mitochondria within your cells, so the energy-producing powerhouses of your cells. What effectively happen is the cells' mitochondria will basically have a complex system within them, which is the electron transport chain, and that'll actually get closer together when you're cold. So think cold, contract, heat, expand. The way the universe pretty much universally works to my understanding. I'm not a physicist, but that's what I think. So there we go. Let me have a drink first before I carry on. Anyway, there's actually a 2025 systematic review on cold water immersion. This is in the Kane et al. PLOS 1 or PLOS 1 journal. What basically shown was time-dependent effects from cold plunging on things like inflammation, stress, anxiety. And these hacks aren't for comfort, they're actually targeted biology. So we bear that in mind. So these are things not to just do day to day. If you're feeling great, you see no room for optimization, don't do it, because it's probably just going to be a negative hormetic stress for your body. So just bear that in mind, yeah? And now the next one is the sauna. By the way, I will actually be putting these together in the end in a practical kind of guide, so you can roughly know how much to do and what is efficacious, so on and so forth. Scientific references will also be deployed below in the description of this video if you want to check them out. Anyway, so next one is the sauna. So ideally, infrared style sauna. So it's a dry sauna effectively. Now there's a study in 2015 which was by Sojima et al. In the Internal Medicine Journal. They were looking at basically chronic fatigue syndrome in patients, and they're using sauna, infrared, in the form of like a blanket, like a cover, like a duvet you're lying in effectively. What they found was fatigue actually dropped significantly with very substantial P ratios, so statistically very significant in my opinion. So you will most likely find a benefit from them if you suffer things like chronic fatigue, and that will sort of co-aligns with things like fibromyalgia, which is obviously a pain disorder effectively. They're two heads from the same dragon, I guess. They're both the same problem with the body, it's just the way they exhibit themselves is slightly different. Now, the optimal protocol for things like the infrared sauna, this is the practical guide a bit. So only 5 minutes in, we're already getting there, guys. So optimally, I'm talking about, in terms of sauna, 15 to 20 minutes, roughly 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. I don't know the conversion of Fahrenheit, but you can find that out easily, Google it online probably, using a calculator. And that should give you pretty much the best bang for the buck. Now, I'd probably recommend that 3 to 4 times per week. So you're looking at basically, if you can cover about an hour a week in a sauna, degrees Celsius. Now, obviously, do that in different ways, so segmentize it in different ways. But in my opinion, beyond about 20-minute mark, it seems to get to the point where my heart rate is significantly elevated for a bit too long. It seems like more of a deleterious effect to the body rather than a beneficial one. What it does to actually increase the blood flow to periphery, so the toes, hands, if you've got arthritis, Raynaud's, for example, as well, and the inflammatory conditions in that kind of regard, you'll certainly notice a benefit there. So reduce some of the pain, and also have some beneficial effects on your blood glucose levels, cortisol levels, and I find actually sleep better for it as well, anecdotally. So that's another point to stand by. And our next one is the cold plunges. So I'm talking about being submerged, ideally up to about that level of chest, roughly. Get your whole body in, toes included. It will be cold, yes. Now we're talking about 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. So above freezing, but not that cold. As in, you'll get in there and you will feel a shock, but it won't be necessarily the worst thing in the world. Now, for that one, there is a lady that recommended a very interesting protocol. Effectively, we have to make sure you do, guys, this is where you get the benefits. Key point here is when you go in the cold plunge, make sure that when you come out, you don't immediately have a hot shower. The benefit from the cold plunge is actually after the cold plunge, when your body has a thermoregulation effect. So you're trying to manage your cold to heat levels more effectively. That is where the benefit comes from. So it'll actually stimulate the release of fatty acids from brown adipose tissue, which is very healthy and actually sort of helps you sustain high levels of ketosis if you're in a ketogenic style diet or a low carb carnivore diet. It'll actually increase your energy output over time as well. And with the cold sauna, basically cold therapy, cold plunging, basically what it does is those complex systems I mentioned earlier will get close together. So therefore what happens is the efficiency of the ATPase, the spinning nanomotors within your actual electron transport chain within those complex systems will actually increase in speed. So therefore you become more effective, more efficient at turning out energy, ATP, which is the currency of the body for energy. Now, there is obviously a limiting factor to this in that too much of that spin can cause oxidation. It's a stress to the body. It's a thing your body isn't used to hormetically, at least to the degree that some people are doing it. So what I might recommend, around about 10 to 11 minutes per week. If you do 12, you're not going to die. If you do 9, you're not going to die either. Promise you that. But I will always say is try to spread it out. Start light, and obviously contact your medical provider before you do all these sort of things, because they are quite tough. So yeah, that's two sort of methods I'd use. Temperature between 4 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees Celsius. The colder, the more the benefit there will be. Start off with 1 minute, a couple times a week, then build up to 2, then 3. We'll go even slower. Do 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, as time goes on. But my protocol basically is about 3 or 4 minutes, about 3 times per week. That's what I find useful, where I find a benefit from it. And most certainly reduces pain levels in my experience. And I find a great sense of mental clarity afterwards. So there we go. There's 2 very, very helpful thermoregulation hacks for your carnivore diet if you're trying to reduce pain. And let me know what you think below in the comment section. Remember, subscribe as a member, you'll be able to access my 90-minute free full carnivore diet documentary. I also offer exclusive custom diet plans, training plans, consultations, coaching programs, anything you need to get better on your way on your carnivore journey. So let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and take care, and I'll see you all soon.
Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.